I'm still on the road. Nothing but road behind us. Nothing but road ahead. I'm still on the road to Moy River. And yeah, we've had some really deep and interesting conversations. We've been walking, I think, for the past 5 hours or something. I'm not sure. Or 4 hours. Yeah, I think 4 hours. But yeah, I just wish we could have recorded some of these conversations, because there was a lot of wisdom and depth. And I think it still goes around the idea of freedom, and that we're expanding beings. We are talking about the fact that, while we're doing this 2 weeks, there's people that are probably in offices right now that wish they could actually be doing exactly what we're doing, taking time out for themselves, for their own soul, and overcoming obstacles on a day-to-day basis, which is something that it's not easy to do, but at the same time it's necessary, because with every challenge that you overcome, you get stronger. With every day that you wake up feeling that you can't do it anymore, and you get up and you walk, look at this. It's a bit suicidal if you think about it. But with each and every day that you wake up and you say, no, I'm doing it again, I'm going to put my body through it again, and at that point the fatigue has overcome you. I couldn't even stay up until 9 last night. I was out by 9. I was out. I think I was out around 8 already. My body was tired. But then this morning, after a good rest, I reminded myself, and I think this little experience is something that is really building my character, because then, as I was saying to my brother, it's a spirit that then I can take back to everything that I do, with my projects and everything else. The spirit of endurance, the spirit of forgetting about yesterday's victories. Yesterday's victory was yesterday's, and today has got its own challenges. This morning, I can't be saying, no, we did very well. We walked so many kilometers, and the body was this painful, went through so much pain, or this much pain, and it's but that was yesterday, So the lesson from this trip is that every day has its victories, every day has its challenges, and we need to overcome them daily, so that we can keep growing and keep getting better and better. So then we asked Uti, why do people, Wongs was asking me, why do people quit jobs and resign after a while? Because he was working for an air flight or a flight company, and they would travel the world, and he would say, when they start working there, they're so excited, they'll be traveling, going to New York, Paris, whatever. But after a while, it gets to a point where it's frustrating, and then they end up resigning. And so my answer to him was that we're expanding beings. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier on. We're expanding beings. Even the workplace, you see, our nature is to desire more, to seek more freedom. Even in relationships, we seek more. We're never content with what we see every day, So that's why it's important for couples to grow together. Once one person akhula lo munye sala, then sebakhona ungazwani, because this one is speaking of ideas that are foreign to the other. So let me get back to work before I go into relationships. So companies, even in companies, they understand the desire for growth, and that's why the progressive companies structure their work in such a way that people are always moving up. You move up from the bottom, you go to management, from management you go to top management, you become directors. From directors you start looking at maybe diversifying products or opening branches in other provinces, and then from provinces maybe you might look at branching out internationally. Maybe internationally so there's always an element of growth, even within companies. Now what frustrates people is that the desire for growth, the growth may not be allowed for them. they may see others progressing, and marabona, they're still staying in the same level. And then after a while, they get frustrated and they quit. And because they feel caged, and that's what it is. When the workplace is not allowing you to grow, it literally becomes a cage. It becomes a cage, and it becomes a new form of slavery because it's going against your innate feeling of growth and your innate feeling of exploring and expanding. Right? With every challenge, you want to do more. With every victory, you want to do more. You know, success begets success is what they say. That's why you find artists are always beating their own boundaries and records, because after this album they have to release another album, and because that desire, you know, even Jay-Z thought he was quitting, and then, you know, with the Black Album, but then Wabuya Segabuya, what, you know what, the desire for growth, the desire for more, put him in a position where he had to do more. So, and it happens with every artist. That's why about you, when you stop doing what you love, you die. And you die spiritually first, because you're going against your natural instinct of growth. So I speak about this, and this is probably one of the reasons why then racism within corporates still resembles oppression, because you do see other people climb up, you do see other people express their freedom, and when if because of the color of your skin and not by merit, you realize that you're not getting to express the freedom that you want, then you will get frustrated. Now, I'm not talking about people that say, hey, no, just because others are getting promos, I should get promos. I'm talking about people who are hardworking and people who are dreamers, who want more out of their lives, you know? So, and that necessity then becomes a privilege awarded to a few. Then people are able to take trips out, take time off, take leave to do such things, you know, family leaves, whatever. But then certain people are not allowed to take leave because they need to keep the business running, and they can't expand, you know, they can't even get education. So just some of the things that we need to fix philosophically as a people, where we look at the workplace and its need for expansion, and to see how do we then facilitate for people who want to expand instead of trying to keep them locked in, because then it goes against their natural inclination for expansion, which is a natural inclination. And yes, there are people who are indolent, who are listless. They have no ambition and they are comfortable in those spaces, and those people should be given that privilege as well, to stay in their spaces and say, I'm just comfortable, I don't have any ambitions, and that's fine. And I think that will keep balance and those people. But if we want to expand, I think society needs to start re-looking at then how do we create corporate structures that enable people to expand, enable people to find themselves, to build their character, to take on challenges, physical and mental challenges that will then allow them to be better people. Because with that energy of overcoming challenges, you're a far more productive person. Your team dynamics are better because you've been working with people under very hard situations, and you've also kind of learned how people tolerate certain things, and you know how to place people appropriately, so you don't expect one person to behave like the other. Omunye can do 40 Ks, Omunye can do 10, Omunye can only do 20. Omunye nje no right to go admin, who role like admin, you know. So you learn those team dynamics and you work with them, but you have that understanding and power behind you to push you into bigger and better things. Now with relationships, yeah, it's still the same thing, you know. If you know, I used to make this example about in high school, you know, early high school, the girls that we used to chill with, we would say the same things, and primary school would say the same things, and we wouldn't see any problem, you know, until the girls started chilling with older dudes, meaning that they started getting education that we didn't have access to because we were much younger. And so therefore now their mind would be expanded to higher levels than we would. Or even if the girl has access to a father, when we don't have access to a father, they will then be taught certain things that we wouldn't have access to, and then that girl would then grow ahead of us. And when we start talking now, we don't share the same ideas because their ideas have been grown by the level of maturity that they've been interacting with that has been growing them. So it works out to be the same in relationships later on, where if as a man I say I'm taking on a path of self-development, I'm growing myself, this is the material I'm exposing myself to, this is the path of growth that I'm at, and I say to my partner, listen, I can already see that by going on this path, you and I are not going to speak the same language because there are new ideas that I'm absorbing. And now it becomes the reversal of that. Now you're grown, you're a man, and the person says, no, I'm comfortable with my life. That's your thing, you can do it. Right, I'm okay with where I am. And then the unfortunate part is years pass by, you are growing, you're constantly growing, constantly improving. Your mind is renewed because with everything you learn, you become renewed. And hold up. Yeah, that was Wong's phone. It was in my pocket. But anyway, so I was still talking about relationships, and I was saying that, so now you've been doing this for 5 years, now 10 years, whatever the case may be. This material that you learn, these things also they renew your mind. They broaden your horizons, your perspective. They broaden how you see things. They broaden the way you see things. You start thinking bigger. And now you start having conversations that are completely different to your partner. And all of a sudden, everything that you come up with, because in their mind, they don't see how that is possible. In fact, in their mind, they're still stuck at that place where you probably said, hey, let's start developing ourselves in this way. Let's start interacting, and let's start reading these books. Let's start practicing these things and these ways of living that will improve who we are and take us out of this rut that we're in, or improve our space. And so manje, even the simplest of conversations, so arguments over small things, and so it's very important to grow together, to expand together, and also within relationships to have people that want to expand the way you do and as vigorously as you do, so that there's alignment. It's very difficult to be in a relationship with someone that is out of alignment with you, and more importantly, not even with you, with themselves, because if someone is not developing themselves on a day-to-day basis, if they're not bringing themselves into alignment, then naturally they're going to be out of alignment with everyone else, because from our internal harmony, our space of internal harmony, we are then able to harmonize with the rest of the world and people. So we're able to play them like a tune, like a musical instrument, because the harmony is from within, and the whole concept of as from within is without, so if you're harmonious within, or if there's a sense of harmony within, by law of affinity or law of attraction, you are able then to attract like-minded people and situations and circumstances, harmonious circumstances. So, and that requires personal growth. It requires character development. It requires meditation. It requires centering. It requires an expanding mind, moving up the levels. It requires vibrational ascension, so that you keep going higher and higher in terms of your frequencies, and you're getting closer and closer to who you really are, your inner being and true source, and your God-likeness, or even who God created you to be. So you reach higher and higher. So yeah, so that's important for us to understand. People expand out of situations, they grow out of situations, and it's very important that if people want to work together, then they have to grow together. And also and for those that are growing faster than others, it's not such a thing which you just leave people behind immediately. You do attempt to bring others up as you go up. And it is partly our responsibility to give a hand as we're moving. But the disclaimer is, don't do it at the expense of your own growth and journey, because if it becomes too heavy, then now and you're not better off for everybody. So take the knocks in the immediate. There will be knocks. Grow and try to give a hand. And if those people reach out and take that hand and walk with you and put in everything behind it, walk with them. Have that patience to walk with them, and have that patience in terms of everyone building themselves, and then understanding that wonke umuntu une growth process yakhe. But if some people are there for a joyride and they're not really serious about it, then let them go, cut them off. If it doesn't work for you, let it go, because this cuts your pair. The journey is it's long and the time is short. We don't have forever here on earth, and we all have to make an impact. And once again, without being racially divisional, I say, Tina, as black people, we've got the hardest task. We've got more work to do than everyone else, than every other race. Tina, we have to build our legacy straight from our ancestral glory. As the, I consider us the not the forefathers, but the custodians of humanity. Whether you look at it genetically, we in our genetic code is a coding for every race. When you look at the fact that our continent feeds the whole world, when you look at the fact that the oldest fossils in Watolala, Africa, in terms of humans, we've got the cradle of mankind here, and all the historic knowledge systems have been built from the foundations of Africans. So, and we don't have a choice. We have to reclaim that for the survival of humanity and the continuation of humanity and the races. And that's our responsibility. And I think every race, at the end of the day, understands the role that they need to play in terms of bettering the society. Some others may need to grow and understand Ubuntu, meaning that you are because of the next, and that destruction is not actually the solution, and greed is not the solution, but it causes more problems in the long term. As we've seen with global warming, we're seeing the effects of all the greed and destruction. We need to really get back to Ubuntu and start teaching the world how to take care of itself, and that with the plenty that we have, it can be multiplied, and we can help others and carry each other as we move along. So I think I've said a mouthful. I don't even know if my thoughts were stringed up correctly, because I think at some point they were just coming in randomly. But I hope I made sense. We need to expand. We're expanding human beings, and we need to expand as black people. Look, all of this is land, farms and beautiful places, but it's not us. Very few farms are owned by us, and those that have land don't even cultivate it the way that they should, because as number resources, we're not educated to build these systems, these ecosystems, and we are even wasting the little that we have, and we're not supporting each other as a black people to create these ecosystems, these farming systems and so forth. And so we and our most intelligent people are busy trying to fight to get up corporate ladders that don't even really accept them, and instead of looking out to see what else is in the country, in this very vast, beautiful country of ours, what ecosystems can we start rebuilding and and owning, so that we can re-own a piece of these distributions, or distribution systems that feed the very people that we are. We need to start owning. We need to start cultivating. We need to head out. The country is big, and may God bless us with resources, so that resources and education, so that we can be able to quickly claim some of these things and make good use of them. And it's not necessarily about taking something away from someone else, but really it's about taking what's there and cultivating it into something bigger and better. Anyway, these are my thoughts for today. I'll break this video down into two, and I'll post it at some point. I hope you guys are good, and I hope you're enjoying these insights and thoughts as I'm walking with nothing but road behind me, nothing but road ahead of me. Petubong's vandaag sien mooi river. It's a beautiful, beautiful path. And yeah, let's do it. We can do it. We can do it.